The beauty of college football is that anything can happen any season. We see teams and players come out of nowhere and shock us all. Another beauty is making a bold prediction that comes true, or making a bold prediction that ends up being completely wrong. Today, we're going to be reading some hot takes from comments on my YouTube videos. Before we get to today's video, make sure to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are that you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. I'm posting college football content all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, make sure to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. If you have a scorching hot take and bold prediction for the 2023 college football season, leave a comment down below and it could be featured in my next video. Kedon Slovis resurrects his career at BYU, becoming a first-round draft prospect. BYU goes 7-5 in their first season in the Big 12. Now, this is a pretty interesting one because first off, if Kedon Slovis is able to go back to how he was at USC during his freshman season, that means he's going to have a pretty damn good year. So if Kedon Slovis is putting up those kind of numbers, I don't really understand how BYU is actually going to go 7-5 in the first season in the Big 12. Now, I get it, they're probably not going to win the conference, but if Kedon Slovis is throwing for over 3,000 yards, more than 30 passing touchdowns, I think BYU is going to be a lot better than 7-5, so yeah, I think there's a chance Kedon Slovis can resurrect his career, but if he does, I don't think BYU is going to be this bad. Now, if Kedon Slovis plays the way he's played over the last couple of seasons, then yes, BYU might finish the year 7-5, but if we're getting freshman year Kedon Slovis from USC, this is going to be a much better BYU team than 7-5. Arkansas's KJ Jefferson shocks everyone by winning the Heisman. He has the underrated weapons, the running game, and a good offensive line. KJ Jefferson continues to be one of the more underrated quarterbacks in all of college football. First off, it feels like he's been at Arkansas for like 5 to 6 years, but I really think KJ Jefferson has a really strong chance of being in the Heisman discussion this season, but he's going to need Arkansas to go, I think, at least 9-3. They're going to have to be in contention for the SEC if he wants to have a legitimate shot of winning the Heisman Trophy. Now, obviously, Arkansas, they could shock everyone and win the SEC, but asking them to win at least 9 to 10 games, I think that's going to be a really tough task. But like I mentioned, I definitely think he can be in the discussion, at least for the first couple months of the year. Florida State makes the college football playoff. A lot of people are high on Florida State this season, myself included. I did a way too early top 25 earlier in the week, and I had Florida State pretty high inside my rankings, so I'm high on the Seminoles. I do think they are a sleeper to make the college football playoff. Now, I don't think I could really call them a sleeper since I have them ranked inside the top 10, but I definitely think they're the best team in the ACC, and I definitely think the Seminoles can make a run this year. Louisville wins 10+, goes to and wins a New Year's Six bowl game. Now, I had to get at Louisville's recent history because I wanted to see how long it's been since they won 10 games in a season, and this absolutely blew me away. Now, I knew that during the Lamar Jackson era, they weren't necessarily like an 11-12 win team, but I definitely thought during that stretch, they had at least one season where they won 10 games, but Louisville hasn't had a season with 10+ wins since 2013, so it's been a decade. They did have a couple of 9-win seasons, they've had a couple of 8-win seasons, but it's been a decade since Louisville has won 10 games. They did go 8-5 last year, so they were semi-close. You know what, for the sake of this video, I'm buying it. Let's say Louisville wins 10 games, they go to and win a New Year's Six bowl game. Man, that would be some season for the Cardinals if they're able to pull this off. Wisconsin will win the Big Ten and make the college football playoff, led by head coach Luke Fickell and a Heisman candidate year from Tanner Mordecai. Again, if you guys watched my top 25 rankings video from earlier in the week, I had Wisconsin inside my top 25 despite them winning only 7 games last year. I think by Luke Fickell coming in, I think they're going to be a much improved team. Tanner Mordecai, like I talked about in that video, a really underrated quarterback the last couple of seasons at SMU. I think he's going to be the best quarterback they've had in quite some time. And they also have Braylon Allen, arguably a top 3 to 4 running back in the entire nation. So I think Wisconsin is going to be a really good team this year. College football playoff bound, I'm not going to go that far, but I definitely think that there's a chance that Wisconsin can find themselves playing in the Big Ten title game. South Carolina surprises people and finishes inside the top 10. Yeah, I also had South Carolina inside my top 25 rankings. I believe I had them inside my top 20, which caught a lot of people off guard. I think the Gamecocks are going to be a good team this year. Obviously, last year they had a couple of impressive victories, so I think the Gamecocks are going to be a sneaky team in the SEC. Finishing the season inside the top 10, that's going to be a little difficult. Now, if this would have said they'll be inside the top 10 at any point in the season, that I could buy a little more into, but finishing inside the top 10, that means South Carolina is going to have to finish the season either 11-2 or 10-3. Definitely possible, but I'm not going to really get into the South Carolina hype quite like that just yet. UTSA will make it to the American Conference Championship. Yeah, I talked about UTSA. They were inside my top 25 rankings video. I feel like a lot of these comments have to do with my top 25 video. Maybe there's a correlation there, but my only hesitancy with UTSA and not ranking them higher was how I thought they would fare being in the American Conference in their first year. So if they're able to move to that conference and win the championship in the first season, that would be quite the debut for the Roadrunners. Hot take, Florida State starts 2-2 and falls out of the top 25 before September ends. Yeah, so looking at Florida State's schedule, there's definitely a possibility they start the season 2-2. You know, I just talked about them being a sleeper to reach the college football playoff, but they open the season against LSU. That's going to be a really difficult game. And then a few weeks later, they go on the road to Clemson, which I know Clemson's not a #1 team in the country anymore. That's still a very difficult place to go in and get a win. So yeah, Florida State, there is a realistic chance that despite all of the preseason hype, they start the season 2-2, and yeah, they do fall outside of the top 25. Dante Moore leads UCLA to the Pac-12 championship game. Yeah, Dante Moore is a quarterback I'm really excited to see play for the Bruins. A 5-star quarterback. Obviously, this is a Bruins team that has a lot of momentum after last year. I think he's a better quarterback than Dorian Thompson-Robinson, so if Moore is the real deal, he could lead the Bruins to the Pac-12 title game. Michigan wins a bowl game. Look up the last time they won a bowl game. Now, upon reading this comment, my guess was, okay, it's probably been a couple of years, maybe like 2020, 2019, since the last time Michigan won a bowl game. Well, the Wolverines have not won a bowl game since the Citrus Bowl in 2015. They have lost 6 consecutive bowl games under Jim Harbaugh, so it's been a while. So that's a pretty creative hot take, I will say. This is actually one of my more favorite ones I've had over the last couple of videos. Yeah, I think Michigan, I think they'll end the streak this year. They're going to win a bowl game. Oh boy, this is something. Colorado finishes 11-1 with its only loss to USC while upsetting Oregon State in the process. In the Pac-12 title game, they lose in a rematch to USC with the college football playoff spot on the line. Also, Shadur finishes top 3 in Heisman voting above Caleb Williams. Yeah, I know a lot of people were really high in Colorado this season, but if they finish the year winning 11 games, I will probably give my channel away to one lucky subscriber because that's not going to happen. And I think this is a fitting hot take to follow that up with. Colorado goes 1-11 again. I know a lot of people, again, are really high on this Colorado team. I think Colorado has a better chance of going 1-11 again than they do of going bowling. I know they added a lot of talent to this team, but this was an awful team that Colorado had last year. I get it, you bring in a couple of talented guys, but there's still a lot of other starters there on the field that aren't really that good. So I think Colorado, I think they're going to be bad again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go 1-11. We're going to wrap up today's video with a comment from one of the greatest channels out there, my man Short Round. Someone outside the top 16 in Heisman betting odds will win it. If that's the case, boy, are we going to have some surprises. So I looked up the top 16 when it comes to betting odds. So if this is the case, if we have a player outside of the top 16 in betting odds, these are some of the notable players that are going to be winning the Heisman. Dylan Gabriel, Tyler Buckner, Will Shipley, Spencer Rattler, Cameron Rising, Jeff Sims, KJ Jefferson, Travion Henderson, and Braylon Allen. So there are a couple of really solid names on there that I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Heisman discussions. So yeah, I know that there are some really talented players that are the favorites, but let's say someone outside the top 16, they have a surprising season and they take home the Heisman Trophy. Well, that wraps it up for today's video of me reading hot takes, part 2. Again, if you have a hot take or a bold prediction you'd like to see me read and be featured in my next video, drop a comment down below and I could get to it. Before you leave, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I'm posting college football videos all off season, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share the video with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.